Have you ever looked at one of your sales reps and thought, I should already strangle this guy? He's not making me any sales. He's losing me money. This closer, this sales rep is here to make money. Why are they not closing? Why are they not making any money? Why are they pissing all these leads down the drain that are costing me so much money? And you know something? Everyone goes through that feeling where their sales team is in a rut. Their sales team is not performing. And it's super frustrating because you put all these processes in place. You know the product's good. You know your marketing leads are good. Well, the salesperson might be telling you that they're not, but you know they're good because you've verified and you've called those leads. But the sales rep is not closing. And what you want to do is you want to just scream at that rep because you're thinking, why are they just not closing? I can tell they're not trying. I can tell they're not punctual. I can tell they don't care. But there's actually 3 things that you need to do to get them to perform better, which does not involve strangling them, shouting at them, screaming at them, or throwing them out the window. Here's how you should actually start. And the first thing is actually just doing a structured one-to-one. So a one-to-one, I'm going to explain to you in this video the 3 things that you need to do to be able to get these guys to perform. The first one is a one-to-one and how to actually do an incredible one-to-one. Now, in all honesty, we want to actually speed up the results. We want to just say, why are you not closing more? But you know, a lot of the times, people are emotional, especially in sales. Sales reps and setters, when they're calling and trying to get their commission, they actually want to make money. They, a lot of the times, will have blockers in place. You, a lot of the times, won't even know what's going on in their outside life. You don't know what emotions they're going through. You don't know what's the thing stopping them. It's easy having that ruthless mindset, which is, well, if they're not performing, they can get out. But I can tell you, that type of leadership approach does not get you far because you've got to be able to nurture people. You've got to be able to develop people. You've got to be able to show people that you care. And this is the thing about one-to-ones. I'm not just going to go over like a one-to-one structure, but I'm going to go over what your one-to-one needs to actually have, because your one-to-one session is actually almost like a therapy session at times, because that says therapy. So the therapy session is when I'm speaking to a sales rep and they're not performing, I'll simply say to them, so what's going on at the moment? What's happening? How's things outside of work? And do you know why I'd ask about outside of work first? Because not only does it disarm them, not only does it show them that you care, but it also allows you to understand, is there actually something happening in their outside life? There was like a big transitional point when I became a manager. So in like 2017, 2018, I'd started managing my first sales team. And when I was managing my first sales team, I instantly managed the team far better than their previous manager because I came in at a time where they hated their previous manager. He was just not a really good guy. They would tell me all the complaints, as they would do. If you're a new sales manager or CEO, they would just complain about the person they just had. When I came in, they were complaining about him. So you know what I did? I did nothing. I got there and I just said, just want you guys to carry on doing what you're doing. And they saw me not trying to overly assert myself and put all these things in place. And I would just ask them for the first few weeks, what do you guys need? What things do you need for support? And they would say, we need this from this manager. This person needs this. We need to be able to get access to these documents. And I would just be able to give it to them. And by me being able to start my relationship with the sales team in that way, it allowed me to ask for more favors later on. And what I've realized is a lot of the times when we have sales managers, sales directors, VP of sales, sales managers, they're in charge of a team, but it's not actually the great salespeople, not the top seller, not the top closer of the team that makes the great manager. It's actually the managers who are very people driven. Now, I was very people driven, which is what made me transfer to being a really good sales manager. But the transference from going from a sales rep, where you're aggressively chasing numbers and mowing people down who are in your way, all the way to being a sales manager is such a big transition. I was lucky that I had a great mentor and a great person to look up to, who I was kind of learning those soft skills from. But you've really got to be able to show in those one-to-ones how you care. And it's almost at times can be turned into therapy session. It's like you're just talking to them about them. You're deep diving about their life. You're deep diving, asking them what's going on with them, why are they struggling, what's going on. And you're not saying things like, why are you not hitting these numbers? What you might say is, what support do you need to be able to hit these numbers? There is a time, by the way, to be direct, but I would always start off consultative. So let's say 6 weeks of bad performance. In the first 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I'm consultative. The next week I might be more assertive and I set the standard. If the bad performance is continuing on week, remember 3 weeks it might sound like a long time to you, but I know sales leaders that have gone through this for 6 months, 7 months and not knowing when to draw the line. And this is why the framework that I use is 3 weeks of continuous support, constructive criticism, giving them all the support they need, maybe even giving them a message here and there and being right there for them. And then starting to say, what commitments can you give me? And then around the 5 or 6 week mark, obviously saying to them exactly what they need to do in a more of an assertive manner. And I usually use it in that timeline because a lot of the times it gives you the ability to suss out what is the issue. Is it a skill issue or is it a will issue? And now in your one-to-ones, this is how you would structure it. So in your one-to-one, you have will. And your will is how much someone is actually trying. How much do they want to be there? Remember, anytime someone starts a job with you when they're first in, they're high in will. A lot of the times might be low in skill. So they might start off around here because they just knew they've not got as much skill. Your job is to get them into this quadrant so they can just manage themselves, which is keeping their will high and keeping their skill high. Keeping their skill high is all down to you doing their development and training and support. Keeping their will high is not just about their attitude to work, because you have to look at your side. Always look at what more can you support? How much can you actually trigger them to think and drive them to actually do better and want more? What do they actually want deep down? What are their deeper goals? And that way, if I know those, I can drive those towards them actually wanting to be there. I'm going to relate back to this in the other parts because the skill and will chart is a great indicator of how we actually manage our staff. But the one-to-one is the first thing. Also in the one-to-one, I would cover KPIs, so all the KPIs, and I would get their commit. These are the main things that I actually cover into one-to-one. So I'll show them that I care. It's almost like a therapy session at times. Not all the time, but at times it can be about like what's going on at home. KPIs, where I ask them, so where are you for your KPI? I'll ask them all the time, how are you doing for your KPIs? Because if I ask it all the time, they're thinking about it all the time, it's getting measured all the time, and it will improve. So I ask all the time. And then I always finish the one-to-one towards the right. The second last question is always, what commitments can you make for the following week or the next few days? And I get their commitments. What I don't do is I give them the numbers. Let's say I want them to make £50,000 or dollars in new revenue. I won't say, I need you to make 50,000. A lot of the times, if someone is not performing and you put that pressure on them in that way, they will not perform. Some rare diamonds will perform in sales like that, but most people will not. So what you would actually say is, what can you commit to? If the sales rep says 40,000, you'll simply say, well, can you do a bit more? What more could you do? I feel like you have the skill and the will to be able to do it. And then they might say 50. You lead them to say a bigger number, but you get them to say it. By getting them to say it, it means so much more. I always want them to commit to the number that they said, that not just the number that I gave them. I won't make the mistake here saying, can you do 50,000? I will say, could you do more? How much more? You could do 50? Great. And once they say 50, I'll agree, shake hands and say, deal, let's do it. And then, because they've committed to that number during the one-to-one, after you've already showed them that you cared, after you spoke about the KPIs, you're going to find it's a far more productive one-to-one, and it's far easier getting them out the rut. The next thing that you need to cover is culture. Now, culture is something that most people don't fully understand within businesses. They think it's actually just the overall feeling of staff, the atmosphere, but I'll tell you what it is. It's actually your mission, vision, and your values. This is your actual biggest component of what makes your culture. So your mission is where you're actually trying to go, where you're trying to take the business and why you're doing it. It's the deeper why. So mission is actually why you exist, why you're doing what you're doing. Our mission at Guided Growth is we're trying to change the way salespeople are seen and reshape the sales industry. In my experience, when I looked at sales growing up, every time I would tell someone I work in a call center, I work in sales, I work X sales job, and I worked a plethora of sales jobs, there would always be a sense of embarrassment because people would judge. I would feel like people would judge me. And it's also because sales were notoriously known as just the cold callers, just the annoying guys. But now, when I actually get asked what I do, I just proudly say I work in sales. And the reason why I say that so proudly is because I really want to represent what that industry should be going towards. Now, that is my mission. I should be able to identify what your mission is within a couple of days, within maybe even a day of working at your business. Because the first thing that you'll cover is why you even exist. So every single staff member, every single sales rep that is in your business, they are a part of a mission. Now, if your mission in your business, let's say you're a DJ, you sell DJ courses, and your mission is to spread the best DJ knowledge in music, every single sales rep that comes on board, you would make sure that they know what the mission is and they are fully aligned. Your vision is actually where you're trying to go. Where is it in 5 to 10 years that you're trying to go? So everyone knows why you're doing it and everyone knows where you're trying to go. Those two things alone will be able to attract you far better talent, because if every single person that's onboarded within your job application, it says clearly mission, vision, values, and this is what we expect, it's always being mentioned. And I have a rule, which is I want to be mentioning it around 7 times before they take their first call. So I've mentioned it again and again. It's in a document, it's in a folder, it's in your company wiki, it's in your company document library. It's always there, your mission, vision, values. The last thing is your values. These are 3 to 7 core values that your business has. A great book to read for this was actually Traction, because Traction helped us kind of build our values, and now we're really big fans of the EOS method. With the 3 to 7 core values that you have, like one of our core values is speed of execution, another is commitment to your success, another is integrity. So we care so much about these values, whether it's our VA, whether it's our PA, whether it's a C-suite director, whether it's a sales rep, those values have to be carried by that person. So every single person carry those values. Now, what you'll find is when you have bad performance in sales reps and those mission, vision, and values have not been spoken about, it's a big indicator towards them not being fully aligned. Because if one of your core values was commitment to your success, like our businesses, every single sales rep, they know their KPIs, they know the numbers they need to hit, they've got the support for their job. Are they committed for their success? And it's far easier managing someone for business values than just that daily task. So it's far easier if someone doesn't hit their monthly budget and they were supposed to close, let's say, 40 deals that month. It's far easier for me to be able to say, you mentioned that you wouldn't get 40 deals. You've only got 25. You mentioned about you would get these deals throughout the month, and I checked in with you. You know, one of our core values is actually commitment, and I just want to understand why you've not actually got that. By actually wording it in a way which is more about the values, you tend to find that people connect with it far more, because it's a collective. Everyone's included in that. It doesn't make someone feel like they are wrong, they are alone. It's a shot on their character. It's not a shot on their character, and it's not personal. It's that this business has a role that you fit into, and the business has core values, and you should be able to match those values to fit into our team. So this is why the culture is so important. So number 1 is your one-to-ones when your sales reps aren't performing. Number 2 is culture. And then number 3 is something that most people actually never do. I don't know why this pen's changed color. I switched the pens without even realizing. Driving high performance. Now, driving high performance, what does that even mean? What does it mean to drive high performance? Well, if you have a team that's just turning up on time, that's okay, that's standard. If they're turning up 15 minutes early, ready at their desk, ready to go, with the right attitude, that's high performance. If they are making a coffee on their break and they're taking 45 minutes to just lounge on the sofa, doing nothing, just because they want to rest for the sake of resting, is that high performance or is it not? What would someone with high performance be doing? They would be preparing for their next call. Will they be running late for the next call? I look at every single attitude. I would even care about the posture of the sales reps that are sat in the desk. Because when I go to a sales office and we'll have sales reps down at our offices, and this is our studios that we're filming this in. We have our London offices that we invite companies down to, and we've been down to companies all over the country that sell within the high ticket space, and look within the office or the place where all their sales reps are, and we'll see their sales reps dressed manky, they stink, the BOs, they're all in the office, they're all hunched over. That's not high performance. I'm not an athlete, by the way. I've trained for a long time, but when I worked within sports rehabilitation, I met so many athletes and I learned the way they think, the way they act would be completely different. A little story for you. When I was in 2014, I think, was it 2014? Yes, in 2014, I worked at the Institute of Sport in Sheffield, and I would sit on the reception desk and I would watch Anthony Joshua come in every single day. Remember, this is 10 years ago, so he was obviously not as big of a boxer then, but he would come in super tall, 6'6", and his posture was always good. He would walk straight through and he would be walking at a certain speed. He wasn't just lounging and walking. The way he would walk to his training, he was like looking dead ahead and he's always going like straight towards a certain task. Someone could walk and represent high performance. When you would watch Anthony Joshua come in, and I was just a skinny kid sat at the reception desk, I would see this guy come in super focused, and it was like inspiring. He wasn't this world champion at the time. It was super inspiring watching this guy just walk into the gym and just go straight at it and then walk straight out. No fanning about, no laughing, joking, straight in, straight out. You listen, there's a time to have fun, but when it's time to play and time to actually make some money with your business, with your sales reps, on making your commission, you've got to be treating it seriously. So I really care about driving high performance, but how do you actually drive high performance and how would you actually do that? Well, there's a few different things that I do to drive high performance, which is I show them testimonials of current clients getting their result off the back of their sales. So if a sales rep has sold something in January, I'll find a testimonial from that months later that they've got fulfillment from, and I'll show them that testimonial. And I'll congratulate them on the work that they've done, because that testimonial is the client that they sold months before, explaining how they've seen so much success, how happy they are in their decision. And think of how the sales rep will feel when they've not only made commission on this, but they've also had a thank you. They've also know they've done a great job. The product was really good. And that actually is an incredible feeling for a salesperson. The other way to drive sales performance is your morning meetings. I do not see morning meetings either being done incorrectly, non-productively, or I'll say them not being done at all. In any sales office, you've got to have a morning meeting every single day. It could be a 15-minute huddle, it could be a half an hour meeting. I do like the 15-minute huddle method, which is every day we meet 8:45. Let's say it's 9 a.m. is the first call, 8:45. If it's a remote job, we'll all meet on Zoom. I'll get everyone on Zoom and I'll just go over daily wins. I'll go over the testimonials. I might go over some quick wins. I might go over a shout out or I might go over the leaderboards. I'm doing something to drive performance. I'm measuring some sort of KPI every morning. I'm congratulating every morning. I'm rewarding every single morning. I'm there to motivate and drive performance, because all I'm doing every Monday, you'll be able to hear it in my voice. When we do that Monday call, my voice is elated. I want to be there. When we hear managers and we look at their Monday mornings, and we look at the recording of it, and it's like, guys, really nice to have you here. I can't wait for this week. We know it's not real. So be the person, be the leader that you needed when you were a kid. Be the person that's going to really inspire your team to really grow your business. And you have to be that guy. Even when it's tough, even when you're getting kicked in the face, even when you're not making money that month, even when there's been 3 people that have just lost their jobs and now you're going to recruit, you still got to be elated. You still got to be a winner. You can't show any cracks. And the last thing is actually accountability. With accountability, I want to be holding all of my sales reps accountable every single day. And the way I hold accountability is I will have what their projections would be. And the way I hold accountability is I ask them what their projections would be. And I'd say, what happens if they don't get it? And I'll have them sometimes have some sort of forfeit. There's actually a video of me screaming at the top of my lungs because I had to give into a forfeit back in 2019. I do have the video. I don't know if I was going to release it because it's horrific. But after the gym closed, I ran on the treadmill, top of my voice, screaming, because the forfeit for that day was whoever does not do X thing has to do it. It was like whoever makes the last close of the day. It was some sort of silly forfeit. But I do love the idea of some sort of accountability. And accountability doesn't need to be a forfeit. It can a lot of the times just be like, what happens if you don't get it? What happens? How are you going to make yourself accountable? And you've been asking them all the time. If someone tells you on a Monday that they're going to hit these numbers that day, on Tuesday, you have to ask them. If you wait until Thursday and Friday, the energy's gone. It's now no longer as important. You waited 3 days. The sales rep didn't think you were that bothered. I'm on it. I'm asking them the next day. I'm asking them what's going on. Why is this not being done? You said that you're going to hit this number. You said you're going to close 35%. Why have you not closed it? You said you were going to close 30%. Why have you not done it? You said that you were going to close those 2 deals. You said that you were going to do these follow-up calls, but I can't see them logged in the CRM. You said that you were going to leave these notes, but you've not done it. I hold people accountable. And by simply asking the question, a lot of the times that is enough to hold people accountable. Now, that's 3 ways to help sales reps that are not performing and what to do. One-to-ones. And so that's 3 ways that you could be helping your sales reps perform better with one-to-ones, culture, and high performance. So if you want to see more sales tactical videos, click on this side. And if you want to subscribe, it's on this side right here. The video description below has a link to our community. Come and join us. We host a monthly call. We've got a bunch of content in there for sales teams and helping you improve your sales reps and full training for them. Join, and I'll catch you in there. I'll see you in the next video.